What is up everyone, my name's Al from Games Drip and I'm bringing you something slightly different here today. We're actually going to be looking at the 28th annual, that's right, SEGA Saturn Homebrew competition. Now entries actually have to be in before sometime in January. Now obviously there are entrants already starting to appear. Now this is all being done on the Sega Extreme forum, so if you are a homebrew developer and you want to get involved, do that. I'll drop a link in the description box for how you can do that. Either way, we've got our first one on here, and I thought I'd kind of take a look at some of them and see what they have to offer, see which ones are actual contenders. Now the first one we're looking at is by Sansigolo. I believe that's the name he goes under as a homebrew developer. And the title is called The Case of the City, Botucaiba, I believe it is. I could have absolutely butchered the name. Either way, he did actually work on a previous title the year before, another visual novel. This is another visual novel. So it'll be interesting to see how this one pans out, how it plays. We're going to take a look at the first 5-10 minutes, see what it's all about, give a little look at really. Either way, let me know what you think as we go through this. I'd like to see some comments on this because, like I said, I obviously focus on the homebrew scene massively. So I kind of thought, hey, why am I not taking a look at the homebrew annual Sega Saturn kind of championships, we'll call it? Let's start here. Let's do it. So here we go, guys. This is it. The Case of City Botucaiba, that's the way I'm saying it. I could be absolutely butchering it. Either way. Neuro Image Studio 2022 and Drake Free. So here we go. We're going to play it in, obviously, English. So let's take a look at this and see how this actually plays, see what it's all about. Like I said, first 5 to 10 minutes, just so we can get a feel for it. Let's do it. You are Rene Brass, an ordinary detective. You entered the business 7 years ago. Just after the end of your longest relationship, you became famous for solving the case of kidnappings in the capital. Okay. Months have passed since the case Lighthouse Sao Bento de Oeste. Now, that is his previous title, I believe, is the name of that one right there. Since then, you have become an active detective in the South Minas region. Everything changed when days ago you received an email from Julia. Hi Rene, how long? It's me, Julia, sending this email to invite you on a road trip. Or on a trip. It's been months since we last saw each other and so I wanted to invite you to spend the vacations together. In case you don't know, I've become editor and at I can't get that right, magazine, famous political magazine in the country. And during the school vacations at the end of the year, I decided that I wanted to travel to the city of Botucaiba, or Botucaiba, something like that, in the interior of Sao Paulo. You may be wondering why a teacher from Sao Bento de Oeste would want to spend her vacation in a city in the interior of Sao Paulo, want to spend her vacation in a town in the countryside of Sao Paulo. To know the answer, come to me personally. I hope this email finds you well. Julia. Okay. Rene says, this email didn't find me well. Why do people write that? Interior of Sao Paulo? Why do you want to drag me to these places? You complain for minutes. Things we do. Okay. So the imagery is quite cool. I've got to say that. They've compressed some pretty decent imagery. Remember, this is on the Sega Saturn. So this is obviously setting out the location. Botucaiba, Sao Paulo, Brazil. Oh, here we go. Rene, what the hell? 4 toll booths? How do people get from city to another in Sao Paulo? Anyway, I'm here. Now where is her, aka she? You've been waiting for minutes at the entrance of the city. Julia, you shouted. Some people looked at you. Where is that woman? Am I forgetting something? You remembered that in the email she didn't say she'd wait for you at the entrance of the city. Damn it. There's no reason to stay in the car in the driveway. This isn't a big city. I'll go find her on foot. Let me find a place to park. Minutes later. What do you want to do? That is a real question. To ask anyone about Julia or to walk down the avenue? Let's walk down the avenue, I believe. Oh, no, we're asking, hey, you. Raphael says, hello. I want to ask you something. Sure, what? Have you seen a woman from Minas Gerais with long black hair, blue suit around here? She was a tourist, probably asking directions. Not that I remember. No problem. Thanks for your help. You keep looking for people. Minutes later. Hey, you on the bike? Me? Says Flavio? Flavio? Yes, wait, I need some information. Are you from around here? Or from the city? Yes, I am. I moved here a year ago. Have you seen a woman from Minas Gerais with long black hair, blue suit around here? Sorry, I haven't. That sucks. Can you tell me where the tourists who visit the sea usually go? No. No what? Can't you tell? People don't see the sea. There are other cities. Nobody comes to this city for tourism. Okay, so this is already sounding a little bit strange, setting out the scene here. Bit of a murder mystery, I feel. My friend did. That's why I'm looking for her. I doubt that is the reason anyway. Have a good time. Have a good time. What a strange conversation. Let's get going. There is something going on with this city. You notice that at the end of the avenue on the left side there was a hill. It hid one side of the city. What's in there? Another picture of the place. What is this? A city inside a valley? I need to find someone. I have so many questions. After a few minutes, you find someone. Hi, how are you? Hello, yes, I'm fine. Are you a resident of Botucaiba? Yes, I live in Jardim Horizonte. Where is Jardim Horizonte? Where? Oh, there. Where do you come from? There? You pointed to the avenue you walked down. Yes, that's the neighbourhood of Jardim Horizonte. Got it. And what's over there? What's in there? You pointed to the city inside the valley. That's the new neighbourhood. Why this new one? That's a complicated question. I came to the city a month ago. I don't know much about it. That's fine. Thank you. You're welcome. You've now been sitting for a few minutes looking at the city. The city inside the valley created 1,000 doubts in my head. Mine too, exclaimed a familiar voice. Julia approached from the new neighbourhood. Julia! So basically we found Julia already. So it'd be interesting to see where she went. What did she get up to? Long time no see. Julia hugged you. Will we get to see Julia? Renee, I was looking for you. Julia says, I was in the neighbourhood. I was there all day. Julia turned towards the sea. Isn't it beautiful? Yes, it looks like a forest because of the amount of trees. And yet there are dozens of buildings. How come I never heard about this place? There she is. There's Julia. She's kind of hot, actually. That's the question that made me come here. By the way, I don't know how I can say she's just a drawing. But either way, as I told you, I became an editor of the SugarPlumBubble Either Way magazine. I wanted to write a story about Botucaiba, the first large-scale healthier city project in Brazil. Healthier city? Yes, a city designed exclusively for this purpose. In the case of this place, by default, every residential building has municipal schools, kindergartens, clinics, shopping centres in 15-minute walking distance from the house. And the residential areas have a lot of greenery. Every housing unit, perfect planning. It sounds like a dream. Everything important nearby within walking distance. It is real. They exist in the past, in the present, and hopefully more in the future. Now I want to know even more why this is not known so well. Why there is no documentary on Sunday evening TV about this city. The answer to this question is what I'm looking for. That is why I called you. This is a special case we need to solve without talking to people. Why? Because we're in a difficult situation. It's as if we are the only witnesses. Okay, so this city is hidden, and they're trying to find out why no one else knows about it. Okay, it's getting interesting. So it's not a murder mystery. What do you mean, the only witnesses? I'll explain. People from the outside don't know about the city for some reason. The residents of the city aren't going to help us with this case because they live here. So they are not people who don't know the city. It's the same as interviewing a witness from a city about a robbery in the city. I get it. There is nobody here who doesn't know the city. Exactly. That's why we are alone on this. Let's put pieces together. What do we know so far? How do we know about the city? By searching for healthier cities, I found an article of the time announced the project was announced, basically. The project, there was no article about the end? No. And I looked hard. This is a strong clue. So, do we ask the industries? Do we ask the mayor? What should we do? What do you know about the industry in the region? It's pretty normal, a few big factories here and there, but that's about it. What kind of factories? To the east is a paper factory, to the west is a candy factory. To the north, we have a Wolf automobile factory, and to the south, we have Technology Park. Two of these four don't seem to have any interference at first. But I don't say that even they do. Elaborate. First, when was the article you read about? August 2000. I see. So the new neighbourhood has been here for 20 years. I bet you that 3 of these factories you mentioned are from before 2000. They all are. When I did the data collection from the article, I looked for the industries in the area. I get it. You turn towards the city. I have so many theories. Julia, I think we are very close to the answer. What we can't see? You and Julia stared at the horizon for a few minutes. If I weren't from Sao Paulo, Bento do Oeste, and everything I've built there, if I weren't for, I would love to live here. Okay, me too. It's a very unique city, and I could still live near you again. Maybe there are more like it, across Brazil. Maybe. You and Julia spent minutes talking about life. Until... Julia, what is that? You pointed to a building into the city. It's a commercial building. So in addition to everything you said, there are jobs near the houses. Yes, that is one of the main points of the city, having worked within a 50-minute walk. I need to see more about this. You were in the city, right? Yes, I was. Did you take pictures? I wanted to see some pictures. Sure. Julia took 3 pictures from her purse. This is the first picture. Took it from that direction. It's very green. Yes, I would say it's the greenest city I've ever seen. Renee says, can you see anything in this picture that helps? The only thing I can point out from the photo is a narrow, empty boulevard. Is the size of the avenue important in this matter? Yes. With the growth of the amount of cars in the city, the most used palliative measure to solve traffic is to increase the size of the street. It's really palliative measure. With more people buying cars, more cars on the streets and traffic becomes a problem again. An empty avenue means that it's a city with few cars, which makes sense because it's a city where everything you need is within 15 minutes away from you. This picture only shows something we already know. Let's go to the next one. This is an interesting one. Although I'd be interested to see where this actual picture came from, because that kind of looks familiar. Why? This is a picture of where you can see the architecture of the city, the project. What do you mean? Sure. You notice the neighbourhoods are aligned in a curve around way? Yes, what about it? This is characteristic of a city design with this concept of 15 minutes apart. The square design would not allow so many schools, hospitals, etc. so close to residences. Interesting. This exploration of yours clarified something for me. Let me show you the last picture we can talk about your conclusion. Sure. This picture is of a housing estate. There are cars in this picture. Some people have cars. If everything is close, it means people who have cars and use them constantly are because they live in the city and work outside. Maybe in one of the industries in the neighbouring cities. This is a good deduction. I think I've unravelled the case of the city, Julia. And the final piece was jobs posts. First point, I think the neighbouring cities, when they found out that there would be a housing city project in the region, like the idea. More people living in the region, more labour. They didn't count on the city being kind of self-sufficient. In the industry's view, the government took a labour city off the map. Some people still live here and go to work outside, probably because of their prices of housing. But in the view of the big factories, they didn't win. But why didn't they move or create a factory in the city? They didn't know what the project would become. In other words, they didn't invest in the city project. Not financially, but in planning. They probably hold a grudge for this. This would be one of the reasons why newspapers in the region don't report on it. They don't want this town to become an example. The second point is its self-sufficiency. The city has isolated itself. All the qualities of this city don't mean anything if everyone here doesn't leave. The dilemma, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody is around to hear it, did it make any noise? No one will ever know. There are other factors which I think would also help. As you said, this city was chaired by a different politician than is usual for Sao Paulo.
Wonder if the governor himself has no interest in hiding his example. Makes sense? Conflict of interest. So I'm going to leave it there. Interesting one so far, you absolutely can't deny.
So that was it. What did you think of this? I mean, to be fair, I actually think it's a really, really interesting title. I've never really gone into kind of visual novels all that much before, but this one certainly is interesting. Let me know what you guys think. As always, like, comment and subscribe. It's Al signing out.